you're going to need a Red Hulk torso, a Toy Biz Abomination, and lots of tools. So the first thing we're going to do is crack open both of these bodies. We need to swap out the arms and legs, and I'll show you how that's done. So one of these arms, the peg broke as I was pulling it out of the torso. So I'm going to show you quick how to fix the arm peg using a screw, the old-fashioned way. I don't have another option right now. Unfortunately, it did break. So things happen, and you just move forward. Find ways to fix it, and we'll see what happens. It's just plastic. It's all for the fun of it, but now we have an opportunity to show everyone how I would fix this. So here we go. First, you want to find a screw that's about this wide, that won't stretch out. It won't stretch out the joint. You want something that's thin enough, and you want a hole wide enough where the screw is not going to expand the plastic and put pressure on the joint. That way you don't have any problem articulating later. So I got my drill bit ready to go. I already drilled the hole, as you can see. Here's the drill bit that I used. I'm not sure what size that is, but it should work. And then I also drilled a hole in the gear joint, the peg, the other side of the peg that will go inside of the torso on Red Hulk. So, and then what we have to do is add the screw and then cut one side to length. I'll show you that. There's a centerpiece inside of the joint that this spins around, so you can test it. If you go too far, this won't move. So you want to test it first, make sure that everything's moving correctly and that it's strong. It's in deep enough where it's strong, but it's not too much where it's interrupting the motion. Okay, the screw needs to be probably at least 3/4 of the way into this peg. So I want to cut it. I'm going to see how it fits in the peg. Hopefully it doesn't split this peg wide open. Like I said before about the plastic expanding, you have to be really careful that you don't drill the hole too narrow. This seems pretty good. Very tight though. I'm gonna have to use pliers to finish getting this on. So I could actually use this thing. And that feels like it's going into the other side of the arm joint. So I'll unspin this, get a grip on this side, and get that in further. That's probably pretty good. Put the other side back in here. Camera keeps going white because my hands are so white. Alright. Then you just tighten it up good. Good as new. And this old plastic is so much stronger than the new plastic, so I am fully confident that this will never break. Very happy with how that came out. Okay, so now we have our arms and legs ready to go. We just need to crack open this Red Hulk Build-A-Figure torso, drill holes in the sides. Be careful though, because we're using this torso. It's going to get sculpted over, but you don't want to damage it too much. So these holes have to be drilled with care, and you have to crack this open carefully so you don't damage the pegs that hold it together on the inside. They run straight through the torso from the stomach to the back, so it kind of clips together. So make sure you drill carefully. Okay, so now we got the Red Hulk torso cracked open, and this is how you insert the Abomination legs. You basically just push them in pretty hard, and they sink right into the new sockets in the Red Hulk figure. So we could reuse. I know they're ball joints. Ball hip joints, but they work well for this figure. It almost looks like the upper leg muscle, but I don't know how that would work as far as A-bomb and, you know, hip joints like this. It might look off. So this worked really well for this figure, and you know, that's how I've done it in the past, and it looks pretty good. So we got the legs already attached to the new torso, and just snap it back together, and then later on we'll glue and fill it with sculpt. We're also going to be sculpting some ripped jeans and some pockets on here. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I ran into a problem trying to get this lower torso back together, and it's because these pegs don't fit like the new ones, and it's because these pegs here are a little bit thicker. So what you got to do is you got to push in as you squeeze the torso together. That way the peg goes inside of the blue plastic instead of on the outside. It takes a little bit of hand strength, but you can kind of see the peg there is not all the way in. So you push in and squeeze the torso together. And that's that. So you can see the pegs are in now. So next up, we got to get these arms inside of the back section of the upper torso, but obviously they don't match up in any way. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove these pieces here. You got to take a screwdriver, pop them out. Then we're going to drill pretty wide holes in this part of the red plastic here and here. Then when we get these out, you're going to cut a small entry point in that gray plastic so you could pop it over the green plastic here. I'll show you what I mean. This side has to be trimmed down, otherwise it won't fit onto the peg. So what I like to do is get a pair of pliers. Anytime I'm cutting close to something that I need to hold, I use pliers. That way my hand is far away. So off camera, I trim down the pegs so that they fit a little bit better, and also you have to trim down some of the plastic inside the arm socket. You could see I trimmed a lot of the plastic out in here. And all this will be smoothed out with sculpt later, so you don't have to worry about what it looks like. The arm covers basically almost the entire socket, so you won't see any of that. You want to make sure that everything isn't rubbing as you turn, and that you trim down everything really well. I also trim down the outside of the arm socket here. First you want to glue the lower torso together and make sure that this pin is in place, not off like that, and you set it back in place like so. Make sure that those square pegs are in the square groove, and then you could put everything back together. You still got the click for the ab crunch, and make sure that everything is moving smoothly before you glue it together. Okay, so now that we have it all glued back together, this is basically what you end up with. Everything else is sculpt from there, but now we have to drill out the hole for the the neck socket, so the head can fit. So what I like to do is get a drill bit that's a little bit smaller than what you need, and you want to drill inside circles so you get that that inner lip that'll catch. From here I'm going to trim the ears down and get ready for sculpt, so stay tuned to the next video. I will begin sculpt and I'll show you how to make the armor on A-bomb.